Hello, everyone, and welcome to On the Spot. I'm your host, Rich Gallup, and with me is
Ryan Davis. How's it going, Rich?
Hi, welcome, Ryan Davis. Welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
It's a lot of business going on. Ryan McDonald is not here today. That's because he is off in Las Vegas checking out CES and all the other video game happenings going on in the fine state of Nevada. Ryan, what else we got going on today?
We're going to have a lot of stuff from not CES, but next to CES. There's going to be a lot of PSP stuff we're going to be looking at. Exhibit is going to be on the show today.
Exhibit.
X to the Z will be here.
Z, wonderful.
We're going to be looking at some gaming schools. We're going to be looking at Area 51, and we're going to be looking at these bad boys here.
That's right. We're giving these away right here. I'm going to hold this up right now. See this right here? This is a Balrog statue. It is very heavy. It actually weighs 8 pounds. We're giving away courtesy of EA's Lord of the Rings, The Third Age. We're giving away 60 of them.
We have 60.
60 of them. So you have no excuse for not winning. We're going to ask a multiple choice Lord of the Rings based trivia question later. So there's no excuse for you to not win one of these things. By the way, $150.
And
they don't make any
value.
more. That's the estimated retail value. Go on eBay right now. It's $150. They don't make these anymore.
They don't make those anymore.
Balrog, Flame Udon by Sideshow Way to Workshop. And of course, the big thing on the show today, Justin Calvert will be coming by to show off the B-Spec mode for Gran Turismo 4. We have the Japanese version in-house. It's cool. You can't read any of the text unless, of course, you know Japanese, but it still looks real pretty.
It certainly does that.
Great. And speaking of looking real pretty, there was a press conference earlier today for Sony's PSP that was adjacent to CES. The whole press conference, all 27 minutes and 33 seconds, are available on the site right now. But in case we don't want you to go anywhere, so we're going to show you one of the highlights right now, which is Exhibit, showing off with Kaz Hirai how easy it is to get music from a PC to your PSP. So check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Sony BMG recording artist, Exhibit. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You know, so straight off your holiday break?
Yeah, I'm just getting back from the holidays.
Where did you go?
I was in California. I went to Vegas.
Oh, okay. So you
came back.
Vegas, so you came back again.
Yeah.
All right.
This is crazy, you guys. You gotta understand. This man makes PlayStation. I'm up here like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It's crazy.
Somebody's got to have the tough job.
Yeah, man.
You know,
it's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand you also go by X as well. Can I call you X?
No problem. Go
Okay,
ahead,
great.
Yeah.
So how's the new album doing? It just released?
Yeah, it just got released 3 weeks ago. We're about to go into our second single. I'm real excited.
All right, fantastic. So do you actually know what you signed up for today?
Yeah, let's demonstrate this, man.
Okay, all right. So and you've checked it out already?
Yeah, I've got my hands on it this morning, and I haven't been able to stop playing with it.
All right, that's the way it should be. Okay, so we have this computer here, a Sony Vaio, no less, of course, and we have loaded onto the laptop already a music that's been downloaded through Sony's digital music service, Sony Connect, and what we're going to do is transfer music from the laptop onto the PSP.
All right.
So basically what's happening here is you've attached the PSP onto the laptop. The Sony Connect software has already recognized the PSP. And so what we're going to do is take your song, Hey Now, and hit the transfer button.
Right. Goes pretty quick.
Goes pretty quick. It's loading as we speak. There you go. You have the bar there that's moving. Almost done. Again, it's loading a track already in the Vaio onto the PSP, in the memory stick in the PSP. Okay, and I think we're done. Right. So why don't we pull the USB cable out?
All right.
Okay, and then if you can maybe, if you can just maybe show it to the camera as well.
All right, we go over to the
and
music.
We go over to the music.
All right, there it is.
There it is.
My ugly mug.
Okay. Press the X button.
All right.
Sorry, press the circle button one more time.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Familiar with this song?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yo,
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Exhibit a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, X.
Ryan, would you mind if I called you X?
That's really my favorite part of that. Kaz Hirai, just real casually. You mind if I call you X?
I think my favorite part about it is that the Exhibit really didn't do anything.
Yeah, Kaz just kind of handles, does all the work around. It's like Exhibit's just standing there holding it. I don't see that as being a great demonstration for how easy it is to use. But I've actually used the PSP in this capacity, and I can say for Kaz that, yeah, it is really easy to use.
Understandably, because it was a press conference, that more seemed kind of like an ad for Sony with the Sony Music service and the Sony laptop and the Sony Music artist.
Well, they kept going through the rest of the press conference, which, as you'll see on the site, where they show the Hitch trailer, which is a Sony entertainment movie. So there's all that stuff. But there's a lot of other stuff happening down in Vegas right now, too. CES is actually happening. That wasn't at CES. That was near CES. But there was some stuff happening with Microsoft.
That's right. The keynote address, I believe, was or the pre-show keynote address, something like. There was an address given by Bill Gates where he was hanging out with Conan O'Brien on a mock Tonight Show set kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Conan prompted Bill Gates through to talk about what was going on for the future of Microsoft and everything like that. And eventually they gave a demo of Forza, I believe, Forza Motorsport on the Xbox, and it crashed twice during the. And we're getting footage of that, and if we don't have it on the site before next week's show, we'll hopefully show it during next week's show. But there was no mention of the next Xbox machine whatsoever.
They said
and
nothing
it's
about
also key to point out that they did not mention Sony did not mention a specific U.S. release date or price for the PSP.
That's right. During it was very much the expectations was that they were going to be giving the specific U.S. launch details. All they have said during this event has been March, probably, which has come from both Japan and U.S. Sony representatives, and nothing at all about the price. So it's, yeah.
So to be honest, I think a lot of people were looking forward to CES learning two things. We were going to learn about the next Microsoft console, and we're going to learn about when the PSP was hitting the U.S., and we didn't learn either of these things. So James from Canada, Ontario, it looks like. By the way, GameSpot Complete members, as always, fill out the form. It's right over here. Is that where? Yeah. Fill out the form down there. And send us in your questions, and we'll ask them here live on the show. The best part of the show is seeing all the crazy questions and thoughtful questions that come in from you, the viewers. So send them in. Home will run them over. We'll ask them. And James from Canada says, do you think since the Xbox 2 is a no-show at CES, the release date will still stand at the tentative Q4 2005?
It's impossible to say at this point.
It is impossible to say at this point. I remember the DS kind of came out of nowhere, and that hit its release date.
Yeah.
These huge conglomerates with all their money and their awesome R&D departments and developers and whatever, it could happen. Sure, why not?
Well, yeah, let's say, yeah. Okay, why not?
Yeah, well, why not? I'm not going to stop.
But also one of the other cool things at this Sony press conference for the PSP is they showed off some really amazing montages of the actual PSP games that we haven't seen in action before, games we've only heard of that have been announced, and I think we have that.
Yeah, check it out. Here it is, a trailer of all the PSP games that they showed at the PSP conference. Bam, and there they are.
That rockin' music.
Your rocking Sony trailer of PSP games. I think were those all Sony games, or no?
No, there's a lot of third-party stuff in there. There was Tony Hawk was in there, which, for my money, that's one of the most spectacular-looking games they've shown so far. They had the Twisted Metal game in there, which looks like it looks like it might be partially cell shaded.
Partially cell shaded, like you saw the motorcycle shoot out the missile. And
Right.
You saw what's the clown guy's name?
Yeah, there was the Sweet
Like,
Tooth part
was
where he's
scared
flicking the
me.
switch and he looks cell shaded.
Yeah.
That looks really good. The Untold Legends game, which they only showed a little bit of there, we just heard about this. It was just officially announced a few days ago. It's coming from Sony Online Entertainment, which is the people who make EverQuest. And it looks like a really fun kind of hack and slash RPG thing, which I'm stoked about. That's kind of my bread and butter.
Cool.
And of course, they have Ridge Racers on there, which, as we know from playing it here,
That's right.
looks amazing.
We played it on the show. It looks really good.
The game looks great.
That's a ton of great games. Now, I remember one other aspect of the press conference is that I believe they had PSP units on display that people could play with.
Right.
And they said they had 17 different games there. And Kazurai of Sony called it a fraction of the games available at launch. Do you have any idea?
What they're going for launch, since they don't have an official launch date, we don't know. They did also say during the press conference that there are literally hundreds of games in development right now, so who knows how many of those are going to make launch. But the one that I am the most excited about, the one I'm just totally stoked about, which they show in that little trailer, is Wipeout Pure.
That's right. Tell us now. Wipeout, I remember, it is one of GameSpot's greatest games of all
It
time.
is.
I think you wrote that
I wrote
piece,
that
right?
one up because I do love Wipeout. Wipeout XL is like one of the biggest games for me personally. I love the style of the series. I love the action, and just seeing the first footage of Wipeout Pure. We saw some screenshots earlier, but now we're seeing it in action.
For people that don't know, tell us a little bit about
Wipeout is basically the alternative to like F-Zero. It is another futuristic racing game that has a lot more style. The big deal about Wipeout XL, which came out for the original PlayStation, was that it had a fully licensed soundtrack and it had this great design look to it that was actually done by this third-party design house. And just total package. It was one of those games that made it feel like you didn't have to be a kid to play games. Like, it was one of those games that totally got rid of that stigma. And Wipeout Pure looks like it's totally going to be. In fact, I think we have something on Wipeout Pure.
We do have something on Wipeout Pure. Actually, we have a developer interview. We have developer interviews for, I think, nearly every game that was on display.
They had people there representing just about every game.
And there's also a ton of EA games, some good EA Sports games that we have. There's tons of footage on the site. Don't watch it now, because you're going to stick around and you're going to win one of these Balrogs for Lord of the Rings, the Third Age. But you check it out later. Keep it in the back of your head. We have a CES flat page, a PSP flat page, I think, maybe, that you can check out later. But right now, let's look at this developer interview for Wipeout Pure for the PSP.
Ryan, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. You are the associate producer, North American associate producer on Wipeout Pure.
Yep.
What do you have to show us today?
It's I was actually one of the personal huge fans of Wipeout franchise, so I'm very happy to be working on it. The game will feature 16 total tracks off the bat, have 4 original tracks from the old Wipeout series brought back to you in a new style, and 12 fully original tracks. And then there's also 8 ships to choose from right off the bat, and 5 classes of speed to choose from.
That's a whole lot right off the bat. now you guys, Wipeout's always had some unlockable stuff in there. You guys sounds like you got some unlockables hidden as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Not all the tracks necessarily be available right from the start, nor are the some of the better ships, but you'll be able to unlock them, as well as is one of the biggest advocates of downloadable content for the game. Yes, that's a very big feature for the game. Not at launch, but shortly after, and periodically on their website will be downloadable content in the form of tracks, ships, front-end skins, music, all sorts of stuff.
Fantastic. Now the gameplay. You guys change it up at all? Is it more towards Wipeout 2,
Actually, since the fans really have expressed their interest in being Wipeout XL as being one of the most popular games of the franchise, they wanted to take it back to that series and even that particular game and be very much in that vein of gameplay.
Before we go, the one thing I have to ask you is that otherwise everybody at home's going to kill me.
Okay.
Is like multiplayer. How many people? What's going on with that?
Definitely, I should have talked about it. Follow it as 8-player Wi-Fi, and it will have all the same track modes that you have in the single player, plus one new mode where you'll be able to start up a track and have anybody join in and just be able to go for infinity, just blowing away guys, just having fun with it.
That's awesome. Now, when do we expect to see this? Are you guys shooting for a launch, or are you guys going to be a little bit after?
Shooting for launch. Yeah, it's a spring title, so
So yeah,
right up in there.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Ryan.
And thank you, Ryan. Here we are back shooting for launch. When is the launch?
We don't.
When is the launch?
They won't tell us.
I want a PSP.
They also won't. They also won't tell us the price,
They
which
won't.
is dragging me down even more. And actually, Eric467 from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, wants to know: since Sony didn't announce a price for the U.S. launch, do you think it means it'll be more expensive than everyone originally thought? I don't think that. I'm guessing that it has more to do with them figuring out their exact packaging. One of the things about the Japanese launch for the PSP is that it had multiple packages. There was a regular one where you just got the PSP and power adapter and you were happy. And then there was the deluxe pack, which came with the headphones and the remote control and the special slipcase and all this stuff. Typically, U.S. launches don't have multiple hardware configurations. Typically, you get the one setup and then that's that. So I suspect that the reason that they haven't been able to fully commit to a price point and probably also to a launch date is figuring out how they're going to package it and sell it in the U.S.
That, and there's the whole thing that this is Sony's first foray into the whole handheld gaming market, and by no means, I think, do they want to back themselves into a specific date? I can't say that word, specific date just yet, because if they do, something might get rushed, and this is something that I'm sure that everyone wants to see.
They've had launch troubles in the past. The PS2 was not the smoothest launch by any means. And there's also the issue of just getting enough units. They need to have enough units to support a U.S. launch. They're also talking about doing a European launch in March as well. So just making the PSPs and having enough to put into stores, I imagine, is also a big factor.
Probably.
So stay tuned. I'm going to stick by my guns, and I'm going to say that Sony will be putting out a $150 handheld in the United States in March sometime.
You want to say 100? You're going to put?
I'm saying I'm going to put
150?
I'm going to put 149.95.
Wow, I'll say 99. I'll say 179.99.
Okay.
Justin Calvert, welcome to the show. What are you going to say the price?
What do you think?
Point
How do you
for
think they're
the
gonna sell it for?
PSP is gonna
I
be?
see it going for a bit more than that, actually. I reckon maybe 180.
I'm not talking pounds. I'm talking.
Here we go.
talking
I think more like 180.
180.
Maybe.
That's, I said
I'd pay that.
179.99 is what I just said. Is
Oh,
that-
you did?
Yeah.
But it's
I'm
like
with you then.
but it's already such a loss on the hardware that like there's no reason not to take it down to 150. There's no reason not to match the DS. I mean, they're already, it's like the cost of making that thing has to be so incredible that even selling it for $200, they would be losing a boatload of money. So why not? Why not take it down to there and make it even so that they can just make the comparisons across the
If they sell a
board?
million units and they took $30 off the price, that's $30 million, and that's hard to see.
Yeah, but-
these are decisions for people who are much smarter than us.
Indeed.
I have one question that I feel fully capable of answering. Though.
Go.
Joe from New Jersey. Have you ever repeatedly dropped your PSP? If so, does it work afterwards? Homer Ibarra, the man who runs our questions. You may have heard last time we talked about the PSP, he dropped his almost immediately. He has since dropped his a total of 3 times.
Really?
And it runs fine.
So it's
smooth.
tough.
But we have the guys at GameSpot Hardware have figured out how to do that
the
game
twist
eject.
thing?
If you twist your PSP, don't do it. You twist it like this, your game will fly right out. It's really cool to see, but don't do it. Don't do it. Justin, though, you are here to talk about a game which I cannot break by making it pop out of a system, Gran Turismo 4.
Yeah, we got the finished Japanese version in.
The finished Japanese version
this is
of Gran
final
Turismo
retail?
4. So this is in stores now in Japan.
It certainly is, and it's selling like hotcakes, apparently.
That's right. There's a new story. 1 million copies were shipped in 2 days.
That's what
something
they're
like that.
saying.
That's great. And I have right here in my hands, I'm going to show you. It came, the case is right there if you want to hold that up just in a second. Right now, I'm going to show off, though. This is the reference guide. This came with, this is not a manual, this is a reference guide. And you'll see some tracks right here. All right. And you'll see cars. I think there's like 130
There's a lot of
pages
cars in the game.
And I'd show you more, but it's written in Japanese, and I don't know anything. Let me tell you. I'm going to check the table of contents real quick. We'll put my math skills to the test. I'm going to tell you how many pages worth of cars there are. Actually, well, Justin, why don't you start talking about the game?
Okay, I'm gonna.
We'll let Rich entertain himself. So, Justin, one of the big things about GT4 is the B-Spec mode. That's like one of the new features. That's
They're
kind
trying to
of-
sell it as one of the big things.
That's what their
I'm not sure it
trade-off is for not having online.
Yeah, when we went to Tokyo, and the day they announced that we were losing the online mode, they announced, but it's okay because you're going to have this. So,
Well, let's see it. Let's see
this
how
is it.
okay we're going to be.
Okay, we're in arcade mode, and we're gonna. I don't want to go there. Sorry, I want to go to one of the new circuits in the game, which is
All right.
El Capitan.
El Cap.
108 pages of cars.
There we go.
Thanks, Rich.
108 pages.
So we looked at the car selection. So we can actually do the car selection by era
Yeah,
here.
we can do it by era.
Let's
so
do the
I'm gonna-
70s.
Let's do the
Let's get us
70s.
You want the
muscle car.
Benz patent wagon?
No, I want
Okay,
a
fine.
muscle car.
Okay,
I want some Detroit
tons of cars to
steel.
choose from.
No, that's Carmen Ghia. That's
Ooh, that's a nice
Camaro.
Camaro.
That's a nice looking Stingray.
That's
No,
not
it's
nice
a-
looking. Ooh,
Ooh,
Chevelle.
But we know what
Ford.
Ryan wants already.
I want the Charger.
Oh, that's
What's
like
the
Blade's
Charger?
car
Let's
right there.
Get the Charger up there. Let's get it in Bahama yellow. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that.
There we
Sweet
go.
car.
That's a sweet looking car.
That's a very nice car.
That is, I mean, no matter what you can say about the Gran Turismos, this game has amazing looking cars.
It looks-
the
it looks pretty
lighting,
nice.
the way that they have the reflective surfaces on the cars is it is stunning looking, as we'll see after this short load time.
Okay, so yeah, when you go to race, then you've got choice of A spec mode, which means you get to race
So
normally.
you can race.
Or you choose the B spec mode, which
Okay, and
is
it's
what
got the
we're
little
going to do.
headphones, so it's like you're telling the driver what to do.
Yeah.
It's like you're Robert Duvall in Days of Thunder.
Nice.
So-
So basically, right now you tell them to go outside. You are not pressing the gas at any point in this argument.
All I'm doing is the controls are right at the top of the screen. 1 through 5 is how aggressive I'm going to drive. And the next two icons are whether I'm going to actively deviate from the racing line to try and overtake, and whether I want to make a pit stop.
So right now you are being very aggressive. You're trying to overtake
Yeah,
on
right now
many
I'm,
turns.
I'm pretty much going for it, but then see the danger is that you kind of lose it on the corners and that kind of thing.
What are
so-
you losing it to,
Well,
man?
well, he's kind of going wide. You know, he's taking the corners
It's like an
way too wide.
Isuzu or something, man.
What a weird mix of cars
I
they
don't
sit
think.
you out here with.
Yeah, it's
There's some Pontiac. There's another Pontiac. There's I can't
So
tell
basically,
what-
the numbers up top you said are talking about how aggressively you're driving right now.
yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff along the bottom here. What are our options? Can you tell me what any of those mean?
Okay, they're basically just telling me that the triangle button is what I use to switch the overtaking thing on and off.
Okay.
The circle button is the pit stop thing on and off.
Okay.
The X button, I have no idea, but I'll just press it if you like.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Camera view.
Camera view. There we go.
Okay, that looks nice.
things that we learn
That could have
on the,
been-
on the show.
All right, what else?
And actually, I think we can we can turn off the HUD and stuff
Oh,
like that.
isn't that pretty? Look at the
So this
rolling
is
hills
just
of
this is
Captain
sort of
Town.
like a spectator sport here. This is just about watching the
Kinda.
cars. Your interaction, it seems, is a little bit. It's fairly limited in this.
I would definitely say it's kind of limited, but it's also really hard. Like I haven't managed to win a race in this mode yet.
The one you did before in rehearsal, you got second place. It was very
Yeah.
impressive. And I'm going to point out that you lost to a Ford Focus.
Yeah.
A blue
Thank
two-door
you.
Ford Focus.
Yeah.
And
Hey, don't you drive a Ford Focus?
I drive a Ford Focus, but a blue two-door Ford Focus used to be the car my dad drove. So I like to think that my dad totally took you down
Yeah, okay.
in your Bahama yellow Dodge Charger, which is all good.
And I'm doing even worse this time. So.
Well, we're going to let you keep playing while we field some questions because I want to show off the crazy replay mode afterwards.
Okay.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Justin from Maryland wants to know, has the official release date been said for Gran Turismo 4?
No, it's still just Q1 this year. I think.
Still
isn't
just
it?
Q1. So it did just come out in Japan. And
Came
was
out like-
supposed to ship.
Came out December 28th
Yeah.
in Japan, I think.
So that was never really a firm release date, I don't think, up until when it was released.
No.
So maybe it'll launch with the PSP. Who knows? All right. Now, Doug Keogh in Kirksville, MO. Is that Missouri
Sure.
or Montana? I'm going to say Missouri. What's up with the camera mode in GT4? How does it work?
There we go.
Now, this is the camera mode. Do you think he means the photo mode? Are you qualified to talk about the photo mode, Justin?
I've played around with it a little, not in this finished version, but at kind of press events and stuff. There's two different ways of setting photos up. You can there are like locations where you can just totally stage a photo. You just plonk your car there. The camera moves around on a rail, and you just set up your shot that way. The other way you can do it is actually from action replays. You can kind of take stills from that and print those out.
And then you just hook a printer up to your PS2 using a USB
Yeah,
cable?
just hook up a USB printer, and the photos that come out actually are like photo quality. Like you could easily mistake it for a photograph, I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a skeptical really out of my part, but
I really,
That sounds
they look
like
that
a
good.
pretty cool feature.
They
that
look
sounds
that good.
very cool. That's one of those things I've yet to invest in the technological features. That everyone has digital cameras now, but everyone still seems kind of set to just let them sit on a computer.
Right.
People are just finally getting those little printers. How are we doing on this race?
Where are we at?
I'm third.
You're third. Are you on the
Third.
final turn? I want to show off the rocking sounds of Van Halen along with.
Oh,
the crazy
if we're
Van
lucky.
Halen.
If you're lucky.
If we're lucky, we'll get some Van
Who knows
Halen
what
on
song
here.
we'll get.
Do we have any Gran Turismo 4 questions, Ryan?
No, I've got some more PSP questions. Hunter G from Chicago wants to know, recently imported a PSP, will he be able to play American games on his imported console once the American games come out? Yeah, that seems to be the general consensus, is that yes, there will not be any region coding for games. However, music and movies will be treated otherwise.
Cool.
That's,
That makes sense.
oft-asked question, and I feel it necessary for us to answer it again.
Justin, you're flying right now. You're
Yeah,
just
I'm
went
up
from
into
fourth to
second.
second. And come on, finish strong.
I don't,
Finish
see,
strong.
I'm going to up it to 5, but
See,
he's
I
going to
think-
lose
I'm
it on the
guessing about
corner now.
15
Overtake,
seconds left
hit
in
the
this race.
overtake button.
Overtake button, up it to 5. Do
Oh.
it. Punch it.
Life on the edge.
So he's already a backseat driver. What does that make us?
That makes us.
I think we're right at the finish now.
Side view.
Oh, is this? Oh man, this could be my first
Oh,
ever
Oh,
win.
get it!
No.
Oh, that would have been awesome. That was close right there. How much did you lost? You lost by 0.034 seconds. That's like now.
That's my best yet, so I'm pretty happy.
That was really
In
good.
inches a mile, Justin Calvert. Inches a mile.
I want to see now. Is the crazy replay mode? Is that something that'll just hop
Yeah, I
happen
can
automatically?
stick
Can we
that
hop
right
to
now.
that?
Because people want to see it and people
Definitely.
deserve to see it. All right,
There
now
we
you did
go.
just see
This
the
is
race, I'll admit it. But if we just get a couple crazy camera filters, one of the aspects of Gran Turismo 4, one of the big selling points, is the fact that the graphics are so pimp and their replay modes are made to show this off. Run Around. What is this song?
This is not. We were
is
we were
not
watching.
Van
We were
Halen.
doing it earlier before the show, and Van Halen panel came on, and it was great.
Which was rocking.
But this still looks. This was something that was in Gran Turismo 3, and in 4 it looks even better.
When they put those camera filters on it, I gotta be honest with you, it looks like something you would see on TV. This
Yeah.
looks like an
It looks like a car
ESPN2
commercial.
Yeah, or an ESPN2 video special, like when they have the car shows on Sunday afternoons.
No, the video filters on this are amazing.
Well, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Thank you, Justin. Justin's going to be sticking around for the rest of the show, so you can still get your questions in for Gran Turismo 4. Right now, we're going to check out a video piece that our man Homer put together based on the Expression School for Digital Arts, which is based down a little south of us here in California.
Actually,
so
a little east, I
a little
believe.
east of us.
In Emeryville, I believe.
Sure, Emeryville, home of Pixar. Check it out. We'll be right back.
So when you first come into Expression, you'll see our wall of fame. We have these white squares and black squares. The white squares are principally students who have enrolled in the program. It's only college where I think you get to actually tag a wall the first day that you're here. And then the black squares we devote to celebrity, guest artists, visitors, all various kinds of people. George Clinton, Parliament and the Funkadelics. Here's Ray Harryhausen's signature. Jack Johnson, Ben Harper, Pete Docter from Monsters, Inc. So we have lots of visitors here all the time. The students are exposed to all kinds of industry professionals, and we have some great entertainers that come through and love Expression.
Hi, I'm Andrew Britt. I'm the director of the Digital Visual Media Department here at Expression. And right now we're in Meyer Hall. What we're going to demonstrate for you today is motion capture. So right now, you see one of our very brave students, Mishka, has volunteered to get into our motion capture suit. And you'll see that she's covered with a large number of highly reflective spheres. And these shine very brightly from the view of all these cameras. And that's what we're seeing up here. If you can see on the screen, Devlin's going to, we're looking from the view of one camera right now. And now you can see that's the view of all 8 cameras at the same time, watching Mishka walk around the area. So, so what it's able to do is take all that information from these 2D cameras and do a whole bunch of math and turn it into 3D information. So first of all, Mishka's going to start in the center in what we call the T-pose, facing that camera. So now we're going to be in the capturing mode where it's going to record her movements. Oh, great. Good acrobatics. Once it's processed, you're going to be able to see a wireframe of the footage, and the students take that and they clean it up and they process it, and then they put it on their own characters. Every student gets to build their own, design their own character, build their own character, record motion capture and put it on their character and render it out. So they each truly go through the entire process from A to Z. If you want to be an artist in the computer game industry, learn on the traditional tools, learn with a pencil, learn with a paintbrush, and then, of course, do the computer graphics as well. But that's not what I see as the problem. I see that the struggle is getting the traditional arts and having something to express to begin with.
My name is Ty Carrier, and I teach at the Expression School. I've been here for about 5 years, and I teach, amongst other things, game development and texturing and lighting. The class is really cool. We've just started it a few months ago, and basically what happens is that the students form together and make a production group. What they do is they give themselves a name, like these guys, the researchers. Within 5 weeks, they have to do what most game companies try and do in several months. They have to go from concept to completion of a playable mod or level inside of the Unreal Engine, which is what we use. Then the concept artists have to start cranking out as many images as they can. Then as soon as the concept art is actually generated, then the modelers have to get in and start modeling out from all that concept art. When they actually go in, that's where the fun really starts, because then you can add all sorts of effects. I think that a lot of times, like I'd said earlier, would just be that I think that media sometimes gives, unfortunately, a bad rap to the whole gaming and movie industry. And they sometimes overlook the fact that a lot of our students are doing so well. I mean, I've had students who are 19 years old who've gotten a job animating making $75,000 a year. And that's some of the things that people don't necessarily hear about, but it's happening. So it is a legitimate, real business, and it's a fun business where if you're going to have fun on your job, you're going to do better.
And we are back, and that school looks cool. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's one of those things that has been a recent development, sort of on a national level. There have been gaming-focused schools where, like, there's DigiPen up in Redmond. There are several. I know Konami runs one over in Japan. Mm-hmm. But it's become one of those things that has become just so much more ubiquitous. You're seeing digital arts programs everywhere, from Yale to, like, community colleges. And it's enough of a draw that there are full-on schools like Expression that are opening up to cater to the needs of people that are coming into this industry.
And that looks like a very nice school. And actually, that piece, there'll be an extended version of that piece up on the site very soon. But it's important to note, Ryan Davis, that if you are interested in following a career in gaming or something like that, a specialized school like that is very good if you are locked in, you know you want to make video games, to go to someplace like that. But a liberal arts school, like as you said, anything from a community college to a Yale, will have programs there that you can take and put towards a career in gaming, correct?
Indeed, absolutely. I mean, there are plenty of people that are completely self-taught in the game industry. There are people that have, incredible amounts of education that has nothing to do with the industry that are in this business. It's basically, if you've got the passion, if you've got the drive, it seems that is the stuff that you really need, and a little bit of luck, of course, to really get in and make it in video games.
And if you want to be one of the gurus that sits down and cranks out code, look for any school with a solid computer science program, and you can't go wrong. Now, Justin, is there anything like this over on your side of the world? Do you know, or?
I'm not sure. If there had been, I probably would have tried to go, because I would love to make games. I don't have the first idea how to. But
this definitely wasn't something that was available even when I was looking at college. It was just back in '97, so
yeah.
I don't think that. Yeah.
This is definitely a recent development, without a doubt.
And it's exciting. It's really cool. And
you know what else is exciting?
What is exciting?
Aliens.
Aliens? You want to skip questions? You want to go right?
You want to talk about questions? So we can do more questions.
Let's just ask 2 questions, and we'll go on to the aliens.
Okay, you do one and I do one. Go.
All right. I have a great question from Sasha in Latvia. He's 16, and he right now currently sounds like he writes articles for a web page, and he wants to know could we please tell him what it's like to do our job? And this kind of ties in well to what we just saw. For example, what did we do for school before we came and worked at GameSpot?
Well, I did nothing. So I'm a bad example.
Okay.
But I mean,
I was a film major
You
at
were
a
a film
small.
major.
I was a film major at a small liberal arts school in Middlebury, Vermont, and I was just a film major. I learned how to cut digital video. It was great. Justin, what did you do?
I studied design, photography, and animation, and played a lot of Nintendo.
That's perfect.
so there you go. You are. But then there's people like.
There's like 25 people here that went to Cal and Berkeley
like-
and were English majors.
Like yeah, no. Well, there's
Andrew went there, Greg went there, Bob went there. I think Bob was a bio
Bob
major.
Clayco was a bio, some sort of crazy, nothing to do with games,
Right.
degree, and then here he is. So
if you to answer your question, Sasha, if you're passionate about writing, if you're passionate about games or making movies and games, a place like GameSpot is a perfect place for you.
there's a lot of people, to also answer your question, if it's worth it to be doing this fan site stuff, there are a lot of people that work at GameSpot that started off running fan sites. A lot of people currently, and a lot of people from the past who have moved on, who have gone on to become game developers. So there is a future in really putting your energy into a fan site, because eventually someone will see it.
Great.
Uh,
No, let's move on.
Okay,
I
fine.
just really wanted an excuse to get to that question. By the way, we'll be giving away these shortly. This is the Battle Dog courtesy of
looks so
EA's
rad.
Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. It's very heavy.
You were talking it down. I think this looks more awesome than you think it does. This
Okay, all right, fine. Orange is the black, go Blackbirds, KHS in the house. But yeah, we'll be right back with giving away these things after this developer interview for Midway's Area 51. Check it out.
We've been spending a lot of time in the last couple of months just sort of enhancing our multiplayer, getting all the weapons balanced properly, getting the online functionality working, and it's really come together. With a game like this, where we're really focusing on characters and story and a world that we really want the people that play the game to feel like they could be a part of, we paid a lot of attention to just making the environment as interactive as possible, in that maybe it's not everything that you interact with that does something, but it reacts to you. So you can walk up to a computer console, touch a button, it does something, moves something, animates. A lot of the things in our world are destructible, so you can pretty much shoot anything and it reacts. And we've added a lot more of that recently. So you get in a firefight and barrels and boxes and cans and bottles and things like that are taking damage in the world. Just kind of create a sense of realism in the environment. One thing that's worth pointing out is that the mutation aspect of this game really kind of makes it stand out from a lot of first-person shooters, in that you get this virus and you meet up with this character, Dr. Cray, that tells you that you're basically going to die unless you see him. You eventually go to him and he puts you in this chamber. He's basically using you as a last experiment. So what happens to you is you're able to use some of the alien effects as weapons. You get this parasite attack, you get this really strong melee attack, and then you get this contagion attack, and what that does is it actually changes faction AI. So that, let's say you're fighting mutants and you use contagion, you affect those mutants in that area, they'll fight for you for a short period of time before they die. So it's a really kind of unique ability. Your vision changes, you see things in the world differently, and it's only for a certain amount of time that you can use it before your power runs out. So it's really a lot of fun. We're trying to show a little bit of variety. We've got a couple of months to go in development, so it's those little details that we're still working on, but we're really happy with where it's going. We'll be out in Q2 of next year on the Xbox and PS2.
That game looks really good.
That looks really good.
Area 51, to be honest, I think is one of the few arcade games that I've actually beaten from start to finish, because I found it at a really cheap arcade. But this looks absolutely nothing like that. That was a rail shooter.
That was a light gun game.
Yeah.
This looks like actually a really interesting and intense first-person shooter. I had serious doubts about this game when they first announced it. I'm like, why would you make a first-person shooter based on... Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll get some hate mail. I don't think Area 51, the original, that good of a game. Not that big of a fan. Neither the sequel, the expansion pack thing. But this looks like a really fun, and it looks good.
It looks really
The graphics
good.
look really good, and like some of the different weapons look really unique and interesting, which seems to be getting harder and harder to do in a first-person shooter these days. So yeah, check that out on the site. You can see more about Area 51.
There's a much longer developer interview. There's a preview story, I believe, on the multiplayer, I think. So
And then we also have more coming up on that game too. So stay tuned to the site for more on that.
Look forward to it.
More
Great.
questions?
Sure, let's take our final round of questions here, and we'll get out of here at a decent hour for once, and we'll give away 60 Balrogs.
Have you figured out your question yet?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Don't you worry about it. Let's take some questions here.
Okay,
All right.
Nathan from Hamilton, Ontario wants to know when the PSP was shown at E3. I believe it had Spider-Man 2 trailer as well as some other music videos. The sound seemed a little off cue with the video. Has this been witnessed by GameSpot? If so, has it been addressed? There is a demo disc that comes with the Japanese version of the PSP that has a whole bunch of video on it. There's trailers, there's clips from games, and the stuff syncs up perfectly. It is beautiful in that capacity. There's in some ways the PSP I think is going to be more attractive to a lot of people as being sort of a portable media center than as just a straight gaming thing.
The fact that it hooks up so easily to a computer, and that more and more people are getting used to doing that with devices like next to the iPod,
Yeah.
I think that's going to help the PSP a lot.
It's USB, so it's real easy. Everything has USB. All computers have USB, whether it be
Even Exhibit
one
can
or
do
two.
it.
If it's easy enough for X to the Z, it's easy enough for everyone else.
John, Eatontown, New Jersey. Are there any RPGs worth playing? Sorry, coming out on the PSP.
Well, there's Ease, the Arc of Nephistism.
I can say that. I can't say specific, but I can say Nephistism.
I don't even know how it's
Nephistism, I think.
Okay. There's that is very much a hardcore RPG for the Japanese console RPG fans. The other game, the SOE game, whose title I can't remember.
Where's your list?
I don't know. My list went
the
away.
game that was in that trailer looks good.
That's hack and slash RPG, not so much traditional like RPG action, but still looking very good. Don't know what else off the top of my head, but I do know that Namco has Tales of Eternia coming out.
Thank you, Tyler.
It's a Sony system. Expect a whole lot of Japanese RPGs.
On that same vein, Tim Simone, Pennsylvania. Will there be any Final Fantasy games on the PSP?
Well, we know there's the Advent Children thing.
That's a movie. That's not
a movie.
a game.
I know.
All right, fine. And for people who are wondering if you
to me.
saw the DLX Awards, the Best Trailer Award, GameSpot Live had its hands in that. The reason why Advent Children was not nominated is because it wasn't for a game. It's for a movie.
And so we don't count it.
Sorry. But yeah, there's at least Advent Children.
But as far as games go, I don't believe anything has been officially announced. I could be wrong. I probably am. Oh no, there is one game that has been announced, but they're being very vague about it. But yes, there is actually going to be a Final Fantasy game for the PSP.
All right, Dave. So I want one more question out of you, and then I'll ask one, and then we'll be done.
Oh man, you're killing me.
All right, fine. I'll
I've
ask
got
one.
just
Will
go.
Griswold in Delaware. Griswold. Wally World. Everybody's never heard that before, Will. All right. Programming for a career. Where should I start? I mean, I love games. It'd be awesome to actually create them. I know nothing about programming, and my school does not offer it. What do you suggest?
Get yourself to a place where they have a computer science program. Go get yourself a bunch of O'Reilly books and start figuring it out. I mean, if you're going to be a programmer, if that's what you want to do, then you're going to have to figure out the basic nuts and bolts. That stuff's a lot of hard math. That's the basis for a lot of that stuff. I think people don't necessarily realize how far away from playing a game creating a game is. How like the actual nuts and bolts of that stuff is very technical and very abstract.
Even testing a game isn't playing a game. Justin, what did you say you studied again?
What did I study?
What did you study again?
Design, photography, and animation.
So was there any programming involved in that when you were doing
the animation was like to sell stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, it sounds fun, though. I thought we were going to cover
it. Was fun.
Programming is not for everyone, though, I will mention. I took a couple classes on it in college, and I was all set. Computer science is going to be my minor. After math was going to be my minor. Before econ was going to be my minor. It's very hard. And if you're going to look
sounds
at
like you just don't like hard stuff.
I do love hard stuff. I'm a big fan. But if they don't offer anything, if you're in high school right now, they don't offer anything, I would say try teaching yourself. There's a lot of tutorials out there. There's a lot of books out there. If you're looking at colleges, I would not say go to specific school just yet, Will, because if you don't like computer science, if you don't like programming, you might not. You need an out, and a liberal arts school will offer that out for you. You can just be an English major and then write for a webpage like everyone here. Great.
Sounds good.
Sweet. Did you have any more questions?
No, I threw all mine away.
Oh, you threw all yours away? All right, so it's time. We have 60 Balrog statues. This is.
I love that one.
All right, pick that one up.
Grab that bad boy.
This is great. This is designed.
Let me hold that
You
thing.
can have the box. Here.
I'll get the box.
Right
there you go.
Stuff off the box. All right.
Oh.
This is sculpted by, I believe the sculptor's name is Rick Fortuna. I looked it up online. This is called the Balrog Flame of Udon statue. It does weigh out 8 pounds. It is a polystone statue. I'm not going to make this sound like an infomercial anymore, but it's made by Sideshow Weighted Collectibles. They no longer sell these.
Limited edition, Rich.
You
won't find this anywhere else.
That was good. And we have a trivia question, and we're going to give away 60 of these. If we're giving away 60, you can bet that the trivia question isn't going to be that hard. So here is the trivia question right now. All right. How many total minutes add up to the extended versions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy DVDs add up to? This is multiple choice. So you take the 3 DVDs, line them in a row. Do they have to 681 minutes, 816 minutes, or 1.86 million minutes?
I think it's C.
You think it's C?
I say write down C.
All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to limit how many times you can enter this competition. I say you can only guess an answer once. So I want either 681 minutes, was it 816 minutes, or 1.86 million minutes. You need to put your name if you're a GameSpot Complete member. Fill out the form right now with your answer below.
Name and address.
Full mailing address. If you don't have a mailing address, then we can't send you one of these because we haven't way to contact you. So fill it out with your answer. If you think you're wrong, fill it out again. I'll let you do it because we got 60 of these to give away. 60 statues courtesy of EA Games. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. Justin is already eyeing that one. The base does come apart.
You're already taking it apart. That's the one we won't be giving to the users.
So I think this was a good show. Right? You guys feel it was a good show?
I feel that I'm happy. I'm
Be
pleased.
sure to check out the site. There's a lot of CES information pouring in from our team over there. They're learning all kinds
we've
of
got
stuff.
more PSP stuff that's going up constantly. We put up a whole lot of hands-on impressions from the PlayStation that they had yesterday. We're going to have more EA game stuff. We're going to possibly have some more Nintendo stuff. There's going to be, if you check the hardware site, there's going to be a bunch of hardware stuff.
Ton of hardware stuff. That's what CES is all about. It's about the electronics.
It is about
Bunch of home theater
about
stuff.
the
Check it
hardware
out.
stuff. So there's keep checking on the site today and tomorrow, and possibly through the weekend. We're going to be having more from Las Vegas. So stay tuned.
There will be other stuff, though, like GameSpot Sports is running great simulated playoffs for the NFL like they did for college football, and you can see who is going to move on past the wild card round and then lose to the Patriots next weekend. And there's some other good stuff. There's some great news on the PC front. We'll have a really cool interview for a really cool expansion pack that you're not going to want to miss. I'm not sure if I can say more, so I won't. But check the site for that. And anything else? We all good?
I think we're good.
Let's get out of here. So for Ryan Davis, Justin Calvert, for all the crew that came in to help us out, for everyone who sent us back some great stuff from Vegas, we'll catch you next time right here on The Spot.